Welcome back to Another View with Amara Chi. I hope you've been enjoying the show so far. So now we know that as African, we love having kids. You know, someone could actually pride themselves in, I have 10 children. But do you think that if we as immigrants, you know, African immigrants, start having kids like that, the way we do comfortably at home, do we have the health facility to actually manage that? Seeing that in Saskatchewan, you can actually say you just have like 3 or 4 hospitals or 5, 6. You could count them. Like you just have 2 in Regina, 2. You know, do you think that they have facility to manage that though?
So I feel like with the growing population and also with the trend of immigration and Canada wanting to increase its population, they will make provisions, okay, for more healthcare facilities to, you know, take care of the growing population. So I don't think that's a problem. If your view on life is to go out there and populate like your ancestors, please. I like that. Please, you're welcome, because Canada is up to the task. So yeah, like the government does their job. They make sure they provide what is needed for the growing population.
You know, Canada take population census, so they know when the population is growing, and at that time they know, okay, this region needs more facilities.
And
so
then another
they'll
thing
make that happen.
again is, you know, they have clinics too. Just that you don't have babies in this clinic,
Yes.
which is what we're really dealing with today. So I think if they notice, like, these people were increasing in numbers, we're larger now, and there'll be lots of babies coming. I'm sure it's something that they would, you know, handle. Because I didn't see any need of, like, I didn't feel the hospital, although I had my baby during the early pandemic times, everywhere was kind of deserted too, but I still feel that they'll put into consideration if we begin to spring up with babies. I'm sorry. We're going to spring up. Let's talk of something very, very important. What are your thoughts about maternity leave, you know, that we enjoy in Canada? And also, don't forget the fact that even with the maternity leave, do you guys think we still have enough support as African immigrants living here? Like our first generation African immigrants, because if you have your father, grandfather, you know, living here, you might not be seeing things from where I'm talking about, but as first generation African immigrants living here, you're enjoying mat leave, but at the same time, are you getting that support that you really need for you and your baby?
Well, I just feel that, I mean, if you are an immigrant and you immigrated here with your parents and you have your whole family here, it's a different ballgame. But if you're here by yourself, you just have you and your spouse, then, I mean, like for me now, I mean, it's been a struggle, but
big
you know,
struggle.
God is there. We thank Jesus. You know, it's been a struggle, but you know, you just have to find a way to work with your spouse, you know what I mean? You share responsibilities, one person takes a break, the other covers and all of that. I mean, unlike other people who have their family members close by or around, I mean, it's not gonna be the same, right?
So, but you enjoying the mat leave? Like,
well, girl, I be I'm loving it. It's nice.
Guess what? The 3 of us are on mat leave.
Exactly.
Oh
It's nice, you know. I'm financially taken care of.
Are we trying to populate Canada at the same time? Like,
no, I'm good.
Yeah, we just have 2 kids. Funny enough, like the second baby now, and this is my second baby too. So yeah.
You know, mat leave you know, this is one thing that I love Canada for. Our mat leave recently got increased to 18 months.
Yes.
You know, so yes. I'm enjoying my mat leave. You know, I'm enjoying the fact that I don't have to go to work and I still get taken care of. You know, I'm still exactly.
They're paying you to take care of the baby. That's how I say it. Instead of worrying,
you don't have to work about. So, but that help is still needed. So because of this pandemic, I wasn't able to get my mom over for Omugwo. So in Nigeria, we have something called Omugwo, where when you put to bed, you have your mom come around, take care of you, you know, spend some time with you. But I wasn't able to do that with my child this time around, and my mom wasn't able to come around. So that help is still something that I still can't get over. I need that help. You know, even in the midst of the pandemic, I had to send my first son back to daycare. It's safe, you know, they wear masks and all that, but I couldn't do that with him at home. I needed my sanity. I needed to make sure that, I'm able to take care of myself and take care of my newborn baby. I don't have to worry about my toddler. Exactly, So I had to send my son back to daycare because I couldn't do it.
I can tell you for sure that it's stressful for Lake. It is stressful. Sometimes I'm like, God bless the 1 year thing we're talking about. Like now it's even up to 18 months. So utilize it if you have to. Because having your kid here without your parent support, because I got spoiled. My first child I had in Nigeria, my mom did everything. My husband used to say something to me like, you've even forgotten you have a baby. That was what he, because all I needed to do was to exist. Watch TV, spread my leg. We didn't have long mat leave. It was just 3 months, but I think I enjoyed myself so much because I had that support. And then here now, oh my God. Sometimes I get so worried, I get so tired, I'm like, Like when you have multiple kids.
You have multiple kids, you're still trying to learn your body, you're still trying to take care of your baby.
And you're still a wife. So what I usually say is there's this rule, should I use the word rule? No, not rule. There's this thing that works for I and Victor though. Leave it as it is.
Don't stress it.
Don't stress it. Some people are very keen on, I'm going to do the home chores till I drop dead.
Don't stress
Victor
it.
is like, my dear, take it one day at a time. If you're walking on the road or like in the living room and you see something on the floor and you're even too tired to pick it up, just cross over for now. When you get the strength, come back and pick it up. That's how Victor is. So, and I think he kind of took away the stress of wanting to be a wife, cook, clean. He's like, no, you can't do that. You still have a son who needs your attention. How do you, how do you juggle all that? So try and help yourself because
if there's anything you can outsource it.
Oh yeah.
Girl,
but the thing here is
so
in Nigeria, but wait, hold on. In Nigeria, you have a liberty of outsourcing more than in Canada. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes, because of the labor is cheap, right?
Yes.
But outsourcing here, for example, now if you usually like cook, have this the day where you cook like various dishes, please go and order out.
Oh, I order food.
Go order out.
We're just talking about it here now. I would order the food.
If you need a cleaner to help you, maybe once a month or once in 6 months.
I will order the food as long as it's my money now. Abby. I will order the food and have my sanity. So, but there's something I want us not to forget, though, that might be affecting some people. You don't get your full pay. Don't you think that affects you? For people that don't work in private, that don't work in government parastatals, they don't get to have like a match up with their pay. Some get to match up to a certain time. So don't you think that might affect some people? I know a friend that returned back to work after 3 months because of this. Because not because she won't be able to take care of herself, but her company wasn't matching the fee at all. After 3 months, and really she's got bills to pay, she's got mortgages, her life is still the same. But I think this is affecting people. It's just the point I just wanted to put out there, that some people might not be taking the full mat leave if the money they get for mat leave is not matching up with their bills.
But again, this is where you have the cost of childcare as opposed to going to work. I think you need to just weigh the options
and balance it out.
This is where you have to also
if you're going to take
two
kids,
plan.
Exactly.
You plan during when you're pregnant. Some excesses, things are not
back to work.
No, me neither. I'm taking my full 12 months.
Okay, let's touch on this last question. This question is very important, not just to Africans, to every woman out there, and even the men. It's something that the world is still talking about because it's still not going around everywhere. People are still denying the fact that there's something called postpartum depression. Some people, the African man could say, you're just being lazy. You are just avoiding your duties as a wife. Or, come on, your mother took care of you. Why are you stressed out? Man, these things are real. So I'm just going to ask, you take the last point. You're a nurse, so I'm just going to hear from Oge and Folake.
It's real, postpartum depression is real, it's out there. And I just think the culture of where people say, oh, you don't pray enough, that's why you're depressed. I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's one of the reasons so many people don't voice it out and say, oh, I'm depressed. If you need to seek professional help, you should do that. So that's why most women, just, okay, let me just suffer in silence. And I love the fact that every time when I take my son for immunization, the nurses ask me, this form that they make me
to kind of understand what you're going through, to diagnose if you're actually any phase of depression. Yeah,
exactly. So and then I had my husband. My husband took the first 5 weeks of paternal leave.
Yeah, that's very important.
And that helped because my mom was not around, so that really helped as well. But that depression is there. It's real. I heard of a story where this woman, her baby was crying and she was like, she didn't move. She didn't lift a finger. She was just there. She just didn't want to do anything. And they were like, how can you birth this baby and you don't want to breastfeed it? You don't want to take care of it. But they didn't understand what she was going through. It got to a situation where she just left.
Whoa, wow.
She just left, and then she got an intervention. Okay. So she's
suffering from... Did her husband actually understand?
At first, he did not. He didn't understand. He just felt, why will you give birth to this child and not want to take care of it? And she didn't know how to express it, to say, okay, I'm going through this. So, but finally she was, diagnosed. They took the baby. Her parents came, took the baby, and she got help. So depression is real.
So for me, I think it's okay here because there's a lot of awareness, and like you said, they're even monitoring you to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind. Back in Nigeria, we didn't have that, and I personally, even though I do a lot of research, I didn't know about it until my kids were grown.
Wow.
And I had postpartum depression for both my girls.
Wow.
But I knew, after the fact.
Like you knew it was
for my first daughter, she was underweight. And every time we would go to the clinic, I would feel bad, like it's my fault she's underweight. I was actually having suicidal thoughts. My mother-in-law picked on it, and she would always, be glued to my side, like, you should be happy, you just had a baby. All these cultural things. She would tell me, please don't cry, your tears must not touch the baby. I was feeling sad, but you were constantly being told it's not okay to be sad because you just had a baby. It's a good thing, you should be happy. But thank God I scaled through it. Many people are not so lucky. So I think it's a good thing that we're putting it out there. I mean, if somebody doesn't know about it, they're hearing it now. So if you're going through it, you can get help. For my second baby, I told my husband I didn't want to have naming ceremony because I was feeling overwhelmed. I just wanted peace and quiet. But nobody understood. They were like, it's a time, we just had a baby. Let's just celebrate and everything. So now in retrospect, if it happens now, I'm going to put my feet down. I don't want nobody coming to greet me. Now, this culture of people constantly coming to knock on your door. I wasn't comfortable with it, but I think because I didn't even understand what was happening to me, I didn't know how to even voice it out. But
I think Nigerians here are people coming to actually not let you come visit them if they are not in the right frame of mind. They are beginning to do it. So they'll you call and they're like, can you come another time? Which is something that if you do that back home, they'll be like, what's wrong with her?
Thank you.
Like, why? I just want to come and greet you and your baby. I'm even bringing gifts, my money, So I think Nigerians, I've heard someone say that to me twice now, like, oh, can you come and I did it too, because now I understand why. Because sometimes you're just not, your baby is cranky, you're cranky, and someone is coming.
You probably didn't sleep
and when
all
they
night,
come, sometimes they judge the way the baby is looking at that point, and you're like, what? No, don't come. So I think, the postpartum depression thing, I'm very happy the way, they take it. When you go for immunization, they follow up.
That's good.
Even during pandemic, the nurses called since they couldn't visit, right? They called, they asked you some questions and all that. So what are the signs to the mom?
So basically, you just have to be aware of the signs of postpartum depression, okay? You have to look at how you're feeling about yourself, right? Are you having feelings of worthlessness? Are you having feelings of anxiety? You don't feel like you're worthy enough. Sometimes your sleeping patterns, sometimes it's your eating patterns. And we also have to be aware that postpartum depression affects both men and women, right? There are men who actually go through postpartum depression, and I feel like with the men, we just expect them to we feel like maybe they don't understand and they also hide their feelings, but they too also go through that. So I feel like for the African community here, we just have to be more aware and more in tune with what is going on in our bodies. Sometimes it's not just tiredness, it's not just anger. It could just be that is really the sign of postpartum depression. So if you go on the Canadian Mental Health Association website, which is actually such a good resource, you're going to find like the signs and symptoms of postpartum depression. You find information for like your support system, how they need to treat you as a new mom, right? Trying to understand, okay, for example, if you have your support system coming over, the person can read over that template and person can understand that, okay, if this person says, please don't come visit me now, it doesn't mean that she doesn't like me. You know, maybe she's just going through something and I just have to back off. And also understanding like expectations. You know, don't set your expectations too high for this, like for the new parents or the new family. Like, for example, you said, oh, people are expecting you to have a naming ceremony, or have a naming ceremony. Like, if you said no, right? If they had the awareness of postpartum depression, they should have just understood and be like, okay, let's just back off. You know, so just being aware and knowing the resources. Like you said, some nurses called you. In the community, there are public health nurses. You know, find the numbers of your community nurses within where you're living. You know, find their numbers, call them, let them know how you're feeling, and you can go from there. There are counseling groups. There are different ways, you know. There's this thing called cognitive behavioral psychotherapy. There's interpersonal psychotherapy. So these are just like therapy sessions where they just like talk to you, try to find out your behaviors, teach you relaxation techniques and all of that. Sometimes medications can come into play, but medications are not really the solution for the depression. They can help you with sleeping and eating, but you need that counseling. You need to talk to somebody
Before we come to the end of this show, I think Chidima just really, because I paid close attention, because there's some things you go through and you don't even know what to call it, right? So this actually enlightened me a lot. I hope you guys did learn a lot, not just one thing. I'm very sure of that, right? So speak to someone. Don't bottle it up. Okay, says, you know, someone could say you're not praying enough. No.
Speak to a professional.
Speak to a professional. Talk to your partner. Let them be carried along with whatever it is that's going through your mind. You need to be alive for your baby and for yourself too, and be sane. So we've got help here, she just said. Please try to speak to a doctor or a public health nurse if you have to. On that note, we know a lot of women are being through postpartum depression. They're going through postpartum depression. You can share your experiences on our social media platforms. Send in your comment. Let us know what your experiences are and how you actually managed it. People could be listening. People could be reading and learning one or two things. On that note, we are going to end the show. Take good care of yourselves. Stay with us on another exciting episode. Stay safe. Be good. Bye.